Hello, and welcome to the Daily Digestion channel. And in this video, I want to discuss a topic that's been on my mind for a while. Like, this is something that I really feel like that this might help people to kind of rationalize the pharmacy versus the herbs. I don't know if I really told this story before, but when I went into the nursing program, I took this pre-pharmaceutical class because I just basically, it was not a required class, but it was a summer class, and I was just like kind of nerding out, and I was just like wanting to take it just kind of like for the fun of it. Well, long story short, I had no idea what I was in for, because I had a lot of knowledge about the herbs before I went into the program, because my mother has been into herbs and natural foods and all of that stuff ever since I've been really little. I've witnessed and watched her use those on us to get us well. Instead of taking antibiotics, we would always take garlic and vitamin C, and that type of thing. And everybody was just like, that's weird, you're different, But, I got an eye infection, and instead of going and get antibiotics on it, my mom, I remember getting a little plastic empty vitamin bottle and putting, she put some golden seal powder in it and some water, and I used that as an eye wash, and it got rid of my pink eye. I don't even know why I didn't even think to use that when I just But what I want to say about all of that is, I don't want to talk too long, but I want to say that if you are someone who is struggling with going to the medical doctor, and I get it, you're required to pay insurance, because it's the law now. If you don't have health insurance, you get fined. I pay the fine. It's cheaper to pay the fine than to buy insurance. I'm not paying for insurance that I'm not going to use because I don't go to the doctor. The only reason I'm going to go to the doctor is in case I need to be sewed up for an emergency. That's just the way we do it. Our family has been like that for years. And I'm not about to change now. But what I want to say is that when I went through that pharmaceutical class, I was just like, it was taught by a pharmacist who was getting out of the business. Okay, that's what he was. He was probably about 30 years old. He just had a kid, and he was a pharmacist for several years, and he no longer wanted to practice pharmacy. And all through the class, he kept saying he was getting out of the business. He would do that. He had these little quotes, and he'd go, "I'm getting out of the business." And, we were kind of like, what's this guy talking about? It's weird. And long story short, it turned out he was kind of like one of these pharmacists that was doing stuff like putting, he talked about herbs a lot before he would go into the different classifications of the pharmacy and the different types of pharmacy that we were having to memorize. He would make us memorize herbs. And I was just like, and he kept saying for all the different classifications of the drugs, the antidepressants, I don't know all the different classifications now because I really don't want to know them, and I want to stay as far away from pharmacy as possible because I really feel like it's poison unless it's going to keep you from dying or, some crazy thing that you just absolutely have to have it because you're going to die right then and there if you don't take it or something like that. I'm not going to be that close-minded about it. I'm just saying I'd have to be freaking on dying, and it was the only possible way to live to get me out of the situation. And I had to know for a fact that was what was going to work after I'd researched it and researched it and researched it and checked with several people that I would trust to make that decision. But then I went into the nursing program and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I am having to go through the nursing program and knowing all this stuff, because the pharmacist, he was just like these drugs, they actually cause, he goes, I really want you to look at this, and he would point out the side effects of each drug, every single one of them, every classification of the drugs, of what those drugs were treating. They actually caused this same thing they were treating, and he wanted us to know that. Like he was like, I want, and he would do it every time, and he kept going, getting out of the business. This guy was like literally consciously speaking to all of us. He was subliminally telling all of us, and some of these kids in the program, I don't know, it all went so fast because it was a really fast class. You had to memorize all this stuff. It wasn't something where you could sit there and be like, what's this guy saying, powwow with your friends. It was kind of like, you got to get everything done and leave and go get everything done. That's the way it was. And, but, guys, it was really crazy because this guy was telling us, he was basically telling us that he wasn't doing this stuff anymore. He wasn't going to shell this stuff out to people anymore. And, because it's really not the way, you guys. It's not the way. So, that being said, I'm not going to beat any more on those nails into that coffin. But what I'm trying to say here is that when you go to the medical doctor and you tell them you can't sleep, and they're like, well, why don't you try this? There's this new thing, this new drug out, try this. What's the difference in trying all of their little pills and potions and new, fixes? What's the difference in trying that than playing around and tinkering with and trying different herbs to heal your body? Usually those antidepressants, all those SSRIs, whatever, I can't even remember all the names, but all of those types of drugs, medicine, okay, that they give you, they make you, when you first start taking them, they make you feel like crap, and they're like, well, you need to give it a chance, you got to stay on it at least a couple of months, And if that doesn't work, we'll try something else. And usually what happens is people go on this stuff and, it usually makes them sicker. And then by then, they don't even want to try anything else if they're not already hooked on it, and then they have to be weaned off of it with some other medication. Or maybe they did go down that rabbit hole and they took that medication and then had to take another medication and on and on and on because, and I had another instructor that would say this. I mean, all of the signs were there, guys. And these people were doctors teaching, but they were getting out of the business. They didn't want to do it, okay? I had this one anatomy and physiology teacher, and he was like, hormones, he would always say this, hormones are big business. Because guys, if you study what the drugs do in the pharmacy, all it does is tinker around with your hormones. It'll make your body emit certain hormones or produce certain hormones that it's not producing. Guys, your body needs to produce those things naturally. You don't need to try to be getting, and the pharmacy doesn't even have any vitamins and minerals or anything. So the thing that I'm just trying to say, why not try alternative medicine? Why not try taking ashwagandha or gotu kola? When they're trying to put you on hormone replacement therapy and give you hormones or this or that. Why not try ashwagandha or gotu kola or some other herb that actually balances your hormones? That balances your hormones so you don't have to add anything to it, because it will naturally put your body into a state of homeostasis to where they don't have to put your body in a state of homeostasis by giving you all of the millions of different drugs that are just going to poison you, weaken your immune system, and make you sicker than crud. Okay? So there I went. It was 10 minutes. I went way longer than I was supposed to, and I'm getting up on the main road. But I'm just challenging your thinking today. I'm stretching the rubber bands, guys. Let's stretch our rubber bands, seriously. We need to be stretching these rubber bands, the ones that are in between our ears. Think outside of the box, and let's use some common sense. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe, like, share, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.